Alright, forgot to bring out my timer, but that's unimportant. What is that for the one viewer who has been consistently viewing this series, or has been until I made the break, of course, but, yeah, this is most likely going to be the last video. I mean, this one I'm just going to, actually, I lied. I'm basically going to be doing a mini-series inside of this larger series, which isn't even a series, really, it's just a cluster of videos. I think I've made 7 so far. 4 on each victory type. I've made 1 video on the city center, so that's 5. I had made 1 video on the leader screen, that's 6. 1 video on game settings and city settlement, and that's 7. That one was kind of an early game video, but I kind of did that really poorly. And I'm basically going to be doing what I did for the first series, where I scale it back down to Prince, and I'm basically going to play as if this was a multiplayer game, because I do play like single player games, but people don't really do that. You usually just go online and play against other people. But it's something like I've watched many Civilization YouTubers, and some do single player, some do multiplayer, and I can actually like apply some of the concepts in both to each other. So like I can apply some single player concepts to multiplayer and some multiplayer single player. So we'll probably just scale it down a bit just because this is going to be a true early game. Like I'm not going to be just like spamming cities going my strategy. I'll talk about an actual good strategy you should do. For this sake we'll do continents. I might as well choose. Leader doesn't matter unless I somehow get Venice, which would be really unfortunate. But I suppose I can do like maybe next series I'll do a not a standard series, but like a civilization strategy series regarding each civilization. I might do 2. I might do like an archipelago. I might do 1 for each. But Earth, that's not really. I don't even know what Earth is. I know the other Earth where it's actual like. Kind of like Civ 6 Earth, where it's like an actual Earth. Fractal. I think I talked a little bit about selecting your settings, about what strategies are for each map, so I'll just go random. Let's see what it brings us. I'm just a Bismarck, alright, so hopefully I get a Pangaea or Constance. Bismarck, I might as well talk about him loud. Bismarck, well, in real life he was a leader of Prussia, became the North German Confederation, then Germany. I'm not, I don't excel in German history. Oh! I think I disabled the shadows, and that's why. Hopefully, this actually looks really weird. I don't know, but, hopefully this reduces the lag. Anyway, basically his thing is all around, well, his first defeating barbarian unit inside encampment, there is a 2/3 chance that you earn, well, technically it's not 2/3, but 67% chance you earn 25 gold and they join your side. Alright, that's kind of nice, but the main thing is 25% less for land unit maintenance. That's really good. The hands, unique building, it's a bank, but you get 5% production for each trade route your civilization has with the city-state. And then shared routes other players make to that city will generate extra gold. Alright. The Panzer is a buff tank. I have actually. Oh, it is 1 additional movement. That's not really important because tanks are at 5 movement. If that was like in infantry, then that would be really nice, but I guess that'd be a bit overpowered. Oh yeah, this helped a lot. Look how fast I can go without it chopping all over the place. What settings do I have? Interface. These aren't really important. Video settings. What did I do to disable? Terrain shadow, is that what I did? So, or did I disable it completely? I have no clue what I did, but now it's like this, alright. Maybe it's just for single player. Multiplayer might be different. But yeah, hopefully this should solve a lot of problems. But a lot of people don't like seeing this, so. And I can tell the terrain is a lot less quality. But that's fine. I might disable this like shadow effect because I'm not sure how people. It's like if I play the entire thing in tactical mode. or strategic view, which I sometimes do when it gets really laggy, but I guess this solves everything. Tactical views, good. Alright, so, I already discussed settling a city, so I just plonked right there. I probably should move my warrior first, but you want to work the highest food tile. Now, if you settle on a hill and you work a tile that has at least one production, your scout can bet built in 3 turns rather than 4. So that's nice, but generally, for the early game, it differs depending what you go for, depending on what victory. Like, if you're going for science victory, the general thing is get writing. Don't rush the Great Library. Writing, construction, philosophy, education is pretty standard because the way it works is happiness leads to growth, leads to science. Besides the science buildings, of course, but you kind of need growth. And then if you have mountain cities like I did in the last series, astronomy, and then, yeah, I'm getting like that's making. For culture, it's a bit different, because you kind of want to pick up the 3 guilds. Maybe even pick up a wonder or 2. Like, the Parthenon is not, it's not bad, but it's kind of, no one really goes for it. So, the pre-built great work might be good for the early game, kind of like rushing the Great Library gets you a bit of science, that'll give you a bit of tourism early game. I mean, it's not important. But mainly, you want to get the guilds. The Writers Guild, that's important. Now, I would say I'm most specialized in science victory, just like about 90% of Civ players, but yeah, I'll just do my best. Next is Artist Guild. And they're all the same. They all do the same thing. They just provide different... Does this not have a maintenance? No, it does. I thought I was seeing things. But they each have 2 specialist slots, which you can work to generate great people. I talked a lot about that in my City Center screen. Next, the Musicians Guild. That one is in the Renaissance era. So kind of like astronomy. You want to get these 3. Now, their respective buildings are, again, the amphitheaters come with genre poetry, and opera houses come with acoustics. But Artist Guild, you don't get those buildings until archaeology, so you might as well just use your artists for Golden Ages, or just don't build them until you get museums. That might be a better idea, because you don't really want to spam Golden Ages, unless you're Brazil. That might be a wonderful idea. But, yeah, there aren't really any other early game tourism wonders, or culture wonders that are really beneficial. I mean, technically the Angkor Wat isn't a cultural wonder, but that's probably one of the... I'm assuming it's one of the lowest tier wonders. The Globe Theater, that's pretty nice, I guess. But a lot of the cultural wonders are basically the same thing. I mean, the Sistine Chapel is different. I talked about this a lot, but you might want to get a cultural wonder or 2. There aren't really many science wonders. The Alhambra, technically that's a cultural wonder, but that's more so for military. But it's actually still really good. 20% boost is really good. Yeah, that's it for culture. Let's say you're going for diplomacy. Gold, that's the main thing. Obviously, you want to do city-state quests, of course. But, oh, one thing I forgot. Open borders. Pretty sure it's civil service. No, it's chivalry then. I'm goofing. So it might be civil service. You know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's civil service. So once you get civil service, do the open borders. I'm pretty sure it will say in the description. Oh, well, once open borders are really important, I assume most people won't accept them, but if you want to barter for something, or if they want to barter for something, you can always just throw out open borders, and that'll be a nice tourism boost. Assuming you have tourism at this point in the game. If you don't, then it's kind of worthless. But for diplomacy, you want to just rack up a ton of gold, do those city-state quests. There are a few technologies that you'd get caravans with, which I probably should have talked about this for science, since I said happiness leads to pop leads to science. But animal husbandry, you get a caravan. Sailing, you get a caravan. Did it say engineering you get a caravan? Yep, engineering. Well, technically it's just a trade route, but you can use it for either. Compass, yeah, trade route. I don't think civil service. What about, or any of the Renaissance era techs? Banking. That's an additional observatory. Or not, an additional trade route. So that's 5 within the beginning of the Renaissance era, and you can use those to get a ton of gold. Otherwise, there are some gold techs that are really important, or not really important, but you generally, currency is generally the standard one, markets and mints. Mints are good if you have tons of gold and silver, but if you only have one, it's not that worth it. Then you have banking. I kind of mentioned this already with the trade route, but the Hans, of course, that's my unique thing. So, but with banking, that's yeah, banks are pretty good. They're essentially a market, except they provide another slot. So, I almost said, never mind. They actually, no, it's only one. It's stock exchanges provide two. I'm goofing here. It's not really important, the slots, just getting those buildings, I guess, is good. Guilds, you can work wealth, production of wealth, but that's not good early game. There's a couple gold wonders. Machu Picchu is good for gold. 25 from city connections. This is good if you're kind of like, if you're either tradition and you have 3 huge cities, or you're like Liberty and you have tons of tiny cities. It's generally good all around, but that's assuming you get. So, Petro establishes in our caravan, but that's generally not used for gold. Alright? I don't know why I said that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I forgot to talk. Oh, actually, no, harbors. Those are really good. So if it's archipelago, this is for, I probably should have talked about this with the caravans or trade routes, but it extends the range of trade routes and you get an additional gold from connecting with them. So that's really good. Yeah, and it forms city connection with the capital. So if you have island city, that might be useful to build. And the respective thing for land trade routes is the caravansary, which it isn't like a harbor, as in they each provide a city connection. This one just extends it, and it actually gets a +2, so I guess that's sort of to balance it out. East India Company, that is +4 gold, which is always nice, but if other players are doing gold trade routes and your city is East India Company, they get an extra 2 and you get an extra 4 gold. I assume that's it's always per turn from doing it. So if you have a good cap, then other people send trade routes. So yeah, I should have talked about this for science. I kind of noticed it, but really, a good science wonder, I guess, would be the Oracle. I mean, it's early great scientist points, which the only other great scientist points you get from education. And the Oracle combined with, let's say, a Garden, National Epic, that's kind of good. Let's see. It's kind of like Babylon. I mean, they obviously rate the great scientists from writing, but this is kind of like the alternative. It's not even an alternative. It's just, yeah. So I think that's 4. Oh, military victory. Well, if you're doing early game war, you kind of have to focus on a few techs. Bronze working, that's barracks. There are also a few wonders, I should mention that. Oh, the gold wonder, I forgot. Mausoleum, or it's actually Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. 100 gold each time a great person is expended, so that's good for freedom, I guess, or if you have freedom. And then marble stonework by a city produces 2 gold. Mainly, it's used for that, but no one really builds this, I guess. But anyway, back to military. Barracks, 15 XP, that's 1 promotion. Armories, that's unarmed 15 XP, that's 2 promotions. So, military academies, that's way later. But there's also some key wonders. I'll talk about the units later, or just the early game ones. So, Statue of Zeus, that's assuming you got honor. Units get bonus strength when attacking cities. That might be only applied to melee, but it might be applied to like range as well. I'm not sure. The Great Lighthouse, if you're England, this might be a good choice. But I suppose if you're just going military, naval units receive 1 movement in 1 site. That's kind of really only good for archipelago. And a free lighthouse, of course. Let's see. Terracotta Army. This is kind of like situational wonder. It creates a copy of each type of military land unit you control. but it's only for like individual or unique. I think it says unique. So if you have, let's say, an archer and a warrior, it makes an archer and a warrior. Even if you have like 5 archers and 1 warrior, it won't make 5 archers and 1 warrior, just the archer and warrior. So yeah, I don't really think there are any military wonders. Oh, the Alhambra, of course. This is one of the better military wonders. It's actually just one of the better wonders in general. It's non-air units receive drill 1. I don't get how, oh, actually range units can get the drill 1 as well, but they generally don't get that normally. So, and then, it just improves fighting in rough terrain. And then a free castle in the city, and then boost culture output by 20. So that's nice. This is good military wonder. Just the drill 1 promotion. Because you can get blitz on your melee units, actually. That's mainly used for if you're gonna, like, XCOM attrition someone. Just blitz, drop 5, all attack the same turn. That's kind of nice. But, saying what it's used for. There are a few key unit techs you might want. So, for example, sailing and optics. If you're going for, like, early game naval, this isn't even really early game. It's like right. This is like they should make it before early game. It's kind of like because most people they wait at least till compass. But if you want to go early warfare, get sailing, a bunch of triremes, have your triremes escort your units over the water with optics. It's kind of nice. But compass, that's the first naval range unit, and then yeah, Galeas triremes. You can just assuming they have tons of coast near their capital, you can really catch someone off guard. And then, of course, the big naval tech is astronomy. Or not, well, that's for caravels, which is for exploration, but navigation, that's the big one. Frigates, privateers, those will last a long time. If you rush navigation, the main downfall is that there's like a window of time. Like if you're the first to get navigation and you build a ton of frigates, go after someone, if you happen to take them out, the next person probably has frigates. Because, I mean, it's not like long swords and a musketman. There's not a large difference here. This lasts forever. So, yeah, but I guess that's kind of what makes them so powerful. What I'm saying is that there's no real chance to get ahead of someone. Or if you do get ahead of someone and they catch up, then there's no opportunity in the near future to get ahead. Seaport's good, 15% production when producing naval. Its counterpart is forges, which I'm pretty sure is under metalcasting, yeah. But that's mainly for naval early game. I'm kind of going into mid game, but so early game. Oops. Early game land war. Archery into construction. Composite bowman will last you a while. Up until machinery, which that's sort of mid game. But I mean, it's like I said before. This is just me personally, but I don't really use trebuchets. I mean, of course, they have a weaker range strength, but they have tons of bonuses against cities. So like trebuchets and catapults, you can use those if you're going to siege a city, but me, I mainly just spam these. Until artillery, of course, which has 3 range. I mean, there's technically one more range unit, which is the chariot arch, but that's kind of situational. It's essentially it's kind of like an early game. There is actually no ranged unit that has tons of movement like the chariot archer. It's for I mean technically like camel archers and keshiks, but those are again civ only, so it's situational. But chariot archers, they require horses, but they're a little bit weaker than a composite bowman. But they make up for it with their movement points and the fact that they need horses. And they're a bit cheaper, actually. I think are they a bit cheaper than archers? No, they're not. They're a bit cheaper than composites, but that's mainly for offensive purposes. So if you're kind of wanting to rush someone on the land in early game, use chariot archers. Same thing with horses. The thing about horses that makes them powerful in the early game is that they can move from 4. So like you don't even have to be next to a city with like a warrior or the next powerful unit is, well, that's spearmen aren't really powerful. They're mainly they're anti-chariot archer, and, well, I mean, I'm not even sure chariot archers count as a mounted unit, but technically they are, so. Horsemen, oh yeah, this says mounted unit, so weak to spearmen. Alright, so these you kind of use for if you're kind of wanting to rush an opponent, but you want to have the mobility advantage over them. I mean, Civ 6, it's a lot better with like civs like Sumeria. They mainly utilize these more, but in Civ 5 they don't really have a purpose. You'd much rather use like composites, because even the little, I think it's actually 1 strength. It literally is 1, but I mean that increases. I don't even know what I did. That increases the chance of survivability, and it's only 13 production, which isn't a lot. I mean, that's like probably 1 turn, maybe 2. But if you have 6 production or like 7 production per turn, you shouldn't really go construction. You should just stay on archers and just attrition. But I mean, I guess chariot archers sort of same deal, attrition. And then I'm not even sure why I say attrition. That's their religion. You just wanna, I don't even know. Bronze working. That spears, I know they're good against horses, but that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure they're actually, now I think about it, they're not good against chariot archers. They're just horses. The next one is civil service, which is pikemen. It's the next upgrade from spearmen. It doesn't have a lot, well, I mean, technically that's a lot more strength. It's more than a swordsman, but 16 strength. It's good against knights and armor mounted units. So that's mainly, it gives the counter, like it says counter to horsemen, counter to knights. You don't really want to use a spearman against a knight, because a knight has nearly double the strength. So yeah, Lanzknechts, it's essentially a pikeman that is not only cheaper, but it also moves and pillages well with cities, or pillages extra gold from cities. So I mean, the downside being that they can only be purchased with mercenary army. So I mean, if you get the chance to use them, then good for you. But they're kind of situational. So if you do, actually, if you're going gold, then you might be able to get Lanzknechts. If you're going diplomacy. Swordsman, that's generally, it's the upgrade from a warrior. They require an iron. They're pretty good for its era. Like I said, all it is 3 texts you need. Next one, steel longswordsman. Again, that's generally the powerful. These infantry units are generally, they just have a lot of strength. They just have no specialization. Same thing with musketmen. Like I've said before, long swordsmen are usually useless because it's only 2 more texts to a musketman. So that's why I said Japan's unique unit, or at least the samurai is terrible. Zeros are kind of good, but you generally want to just spam bombers. So yeah, I guess that's really it for like the different victory types in the early game. Now it's been 23 minutes, so I'll actually start playing. Thank God. That's probably why. No. Yeah. So since I'm Germany, I should probably just go for XCOM victory. But you don't want to do that. I don't know what to undo. First, I'll just go for like actual early game strategies. I have my final victory in mind, but I was thinking of, never mind. So pottery is generally what I do. I go for happiness and then spam cities, but the best way to go, pottery. Again, early shrine, early pantheon. That's logic. And of course I have my build order, which if you're going Liberty, it should be Scout, Monument, Worker, Settler. Or that's, I don't know why I'm saying it should be, because I'm not the all-knowing, but that's generally a build order. If you're on tradition, it might be Scout, Worker, Settler. That's normally what I do. But what I do is I keep spamming Settlers depending on how much good state locations I see. So Scout, Worker, and then I'll eventually get a Settler. That's Or you might want to do 2 scouts if like you're on a Pangea, but I actually have yet to check. If it's Pangea, I'll do 2 continents. So technically we're on even less than a tiny continent. So it might not even be worth it. Alright. Jesus Christ, I just noticed how horrible these graphics are. But it reduces the lag. Alright. Maybe I shouldn't do that while the turn's going. So, ruins, they're pretty good. I don't know why I'm talking about them, but ruins, early game, the best thing you can get is, or well, there are generally a couple good things. Pop is good. Culture is good. You can get a early social policy. You don't get religion until like later. I know that. Upgrades are good, especially if it's a scout. If it's a warrior, it's not really that useful, I guess. But scout upgrades are really good for scouts. Attack is really good, so like if I get pottery, then I might as well just rush the Great Library. I say it's acceptable to rush if you get pottery, so. This is a nice city location right here. Right here. That gets 2 cattle, wheat, deer, citrus, which is a unique luxury. Your next station, and it's also on a river. I think I mentioned that already, but let's do it. Mining. Alright, so that means I'll be able to get my, that's kind of convenient. I have a salt and a marble, which are probably the 2 best luxuries to have in your capital, to be honest. Marble for the wonder production, salt because it's yields. But so now I'll be able to hook this up, so that's kind of nice. So continue exploring. I think I've talked a bit about movement, but I think that's the coast already. But basically how it works is in Civ 6 is different, but there's crossing a river that takes 2 movement, going onto a hill, moving into a forest. Each of those are 2. And I'm not including zone control here. But let's say I'll do this. That'll, if I end my turn here and I moved here, that'd be 1. But since I still have 1 movement, I can still move over the river, so yeah. I might want to settle on the coast, really. That might be a wiser idea. Even though I give up some of these upper resources, I could always make another city. And I gain some lower ones, so. And then marshes, obvious. Marshes, I haven't talked about those. Those are also rough terrain, so keep that in mind. Let's scout the art direction. You generally want to get scouts for ruins, or scout early for ruins and potential city locations. Those are the main 2. Let's see. See, culture. So now, even though it's not giving me the option to, I can actually pick my social policy, which, tradition or liberty, I've said this many times. Oh, and I can see the borders of city-state. 30 gold. Not bad. If you meet a religious city-state, you can get a pantheon really early. It's actually best that you do that. C2 pop, work the food tiles, keep it on production focus. Extra production, that's good. Another city-state. Alright, so yeah, I see a good city location up here. Plenty of river, that means plenty of farms, and also a good amount of hills. So I can sell 1 here and then 1 up here. I see 2. But, like, I'm not going to rush cities this game. I'm going to do what I do. Alright, finish pottery. Well, that is what I do. I do rush cities, but. Alright, Buenos Aires, their culture. So, I got another 30 gold. Not from the main culture, but because I was the first one to meet them. Another city-state up here. C2. At Akino, might as well add a shrine, and then I'll get my settler. I can actually have my settler. Well, actually, like, no, it won't. Alright, so this is production queue I've never really used, or I've never shown using. I usually use it for multiplayer. But for the early game purposes, I'll show this. Now that you finished pottery, you can go for a few things. Generally, you want to go for the luxuries, so I'll go masonry. Or if you want, you can reveal horses and iron. That's also generally a good idea. Or if you're low on gold, you can go for trade routes. It's all situational. But just standard procedures, once you get pottery, you should probably go for the luxuries. Or if I got free pottery, I'd rush the Great Library. Alright. Let's move. Ife. I have the second one to met them, so I only got 4. Guess Polynesia was the first. Have I disabled leader things or what? I'll have to recheck in with that. Because I'm pretty sure I did not turn that off, but let's see if he was just lagging. Oh no, I actually did. It looks like Mac or Civ 6 leaders on the Mac, because they don't have movement for some reason. Guess it's because just because they didn't really bother to animate them. Oh well. Let's see. Second social policy. If we're going tradition, it's generally to grab oligarchy first. It's kind of nice if you're dealing with barbarians. Found a ruin. Let's see. Eventually I should find this capital, but I have found another city-state. I mean, for some reason, I can literally see its borders, but I can't see it. Alright, oh, it's just blending in. Alright. Yeah, that's really hard to see with the jungle. Oh my god. Let's see. Ruin. Yeah, like I said, now it's an archer. An archer that ignores terrain costs. That's really nice. Not even joking. Alright. Shrine next. And then after that, settler. Now for shrines, I'll mention this later, but generally regarding shrines. Oh, another one, sweet. Regarding shrines, generally, you have to look and see what's around you. There are some choices that work well if you're, regardless of the situation. God King, +1 of each palace provides +1 to every yield. That is, of course, super nice. Masonry, nice. Even though I was already researching it. God King's nice. Fertility rates, 10. I think it's 10 or 20% growth, but that's always nice. Now, normally what I'd do is I'd switch this to here. However, since it will grow in 1 turn anyway, there's no real reason to, and I'll get the 2 extra gold. So it's nice. Alright, next, what I should probably do is, since I have a cattle, and I want to reveal horses, and I could get a caravan as well, I'll go animal husbandry. I have met England. Guess they are the second one on the island. Where are they? They're to my east, so Polynesia must be somewhere up here. Let's see. So let's go. See a city-state border here. Public declaration from England. Now that's 3. Oh, I have my settler. Alright. So now, I mentioned this before, settlers, they stagnate your city. So work, like, make it as little turns as possible. Work as much as you need to. Now, after the settler, I should probably get a granary. That's always nice. I get free monuments from tradition, so there's no real need to. What I could do is I could actually get a worker for my second city, or the mausoleum, but it's not worth really. So granary probably next. Granaries are really good, especially if you have the horse, deer, or not horse. It's wheat, deer, or the last one. I don't even. Is it only wheat and deer? Bananas, I forgot. Alright, so let's go meet that city-state, and then might as well get some experience for my archer. Now, what I normally do is actually I just purchase a unit, but it might be worth it just to build a warrior once the settler is done, of course. Actually, it might be worth to build it before. How much turns can you get in? 4. Yeah, and I'll also use it to scout later on, so. Like I said, I've seen this area. The best place is most likely here. Maybe here. But this here doesn't give me a new luxury. I mean, Ife is kind of snuggling up. I can't really settle up here like I thought. Alright, so now, move back. Shoot, that doesn't really do anything, but makes me feel better having my archer further away. And you also scout to meet out city-states, of course. Now let's get this marble hooked up. There's a pearls here, but I have no way of reaching those. If my capital somehow gets there and I have a coastal city, I could send a workboat around, but I guess I should have scouted out more with my warrior. Could have moved here, gotten the exact same resources, literally. I actually, unironically, would have the exact same resources, unless there's a resource here. But, yeah. I think what I'll do is I'll go for salt, because that also has the potential for iron. But not only that, there's tons of salt around the area. That's the animal husbandry. I have one here, so if I would have moved, I actually would have lost one horse, but that's not really worth it. Worth the move. One horse. Alright, so let's continue scouting. Found a wonder. I'm a bit far away. Yeah, and Wellington's probably going to grab it, so that's not really that important to me. Next, I'm actually thinking what I'll do is, or what, the early game. The next step will probably be to reveal iron. That's not a bad thing, because this also, I'm going a bit slower with the cities, so I'll find better locations. Let's get accuracy since we're in a plains area. I should find the encampment that starts spawning barbarians. I think I see a coast here. We'll see if I'm correct. Yep, that's a coast. So I kind of am getting the shape of the continent. Now, back to our settler, and we can work the horse. Alright, so for now, I'll use him to scout this area. Unless he engages in combat. Actually, this continent is, there's a lot of people here. And there's a huge desert here. So, I guess the Ark continent has only 2 people then. See here. Oh, there's a desert with another wheat. So maybe I could settle, like, I should settle up here. Just, I don't know exactly where. So, oh, there's Polynesia. Yep, there's Honolulu. Found Honolulu. I found England's borders. Let's see. Legalism, that's the free monument. Generally, you don't want to scout to escort a settler, especially in multiplayer. People will pick that off. But it's, I guess that's kind of common sense. Oh, London. Alright, now, I guess that's the end of the peninsula, so I'll go back. Might as well. Let's bombard that warrior for experience. And, yeah. There's no real reason to go up anymore, because I can't really settle any more resources. And the marble is done, so that's also a bonus towards wonder construction. And I also get salt, so let's move. The next thing will be the horses. But yeah, that's kind of the extent. So maybe if I settle, where would I be able to settle? I could, well, England's right in the way. I guess that's not important, but yeah, this makes things a lot less laggy. I assume it's better that it's less laggy than just more laggy. There are a lot of warriors here. Iron. Oh, there's also a horse. 2 horses. I would still consider settling here, but there's a ton of resources to my north, but I don't see any potential city locations. Maybe I'll settle on this wheat, because that grabs the cattle, the sheep, or the citrus, deer, other wheat, and that also grabs the 2 salt and this wheat, and the horses, only leaving out this salt. So it might be worth it to settle here for a potential city, and then put one down here instead. But I'll decide later. All right, so there's the Uluru. Yeah, that's basically England's wonder, unless Wellington grabs it, of course. If England doesn't get that, that'd be pretty funny. Let's see. Bronze working is finished. Next, since I'm doing, oh god, oh my god. So, since I'm doing the XCOM attrition strategy, which is actually kind of nice due to my land unit bonus, I'll probably go, it's generally basically science for like about 80 to 90% of the game, then you just focus a ton on production, but I guess that's kind of irrelevant. Next, what I should probably go for is, if I'm making my city here, I see no trapping resources. I mean, that's calendar, but yeah, that's probably, now that I'm probably going to go calendar, because I'm going to want to work that citrus. Your second and third city, or like, just generally, your cities, you should try and pick up a unique, oh god, that's Rip Polynesia's, actually no, he's doing fine. So, Oh, there's a city state there I haven't met. Alright. There's a camp here. Might as well help Polynesia take it out. So, actually, that removes the possibility of settling here. I'll only be able to settle here. I have oligarchy. Might as well make use of its bonus. And it one-shot. Perfect. So, my city will have to be here. I can't put it any closer to this city-state. See. Might steal that worker from Wellington. I'll leave my warrior there. It's always nice to steal a worker from a city-state because early game city-states don't really matter, or you generally don't get allied. The Civ 6 stealing a worker is just completely wiping them out because there's no. Ooh. I'll have to wait one turn, then because if I can declare war now, it'll push me out of their borders, and I won't take the worker, not the settler. Oh god. Might as well move to rough terrain and then bombard. He might be going Petra, but his capital I'm not sure if it's next to a desert or not. Alright, so we got the settler. Get to here. That is the best city location I can spot at the moment. Now, let's add to the queue. We might want to get a caravan. That's also nice. Let's see, right now I can only do gold trades, but food trades might be nice. Once I get the granary, of course. Let's see, and now we can switch back, which is... I've actually done this inefficiently. I should have worked that, but... it doesn't really matter. It's not important. And actually, since I'm low on gold, I think I'm going to continue... Oh my god, please one shot. Alright. That would have been bad if it pillaged my salt, but... Yeah, pretty much what I think I'll do is... I'll continue working this since I'm only at 1 gold per turn. I won't work it in favor of the horses. Normally that's what I do for the extra production, but... Work, warrior. So let's... move. Alright, now I can declare war on Wellington under protection of England. Now, I know in multiplayer people don't care, so I'm going to do it anyway. However, this is single player. England, I don't know if they have a coastal capital. That's the problem. If they do, then I might have to watch out for their ships of the line. Let's wipe out. Now, the way the Barbarian AI works is this will most likely move here rather than finish off my archer. If it doesn't, then that's a mistake on my part. I put too much faith in my knowledge of the game. And then obviously there's no point in starting a conflict. We will withdraw immediately, which we are going to. If I do it to another city-state, not only will city-states be weary, but England will also probably denounce me, which is basically a declaration. Oh, it's actually not a declaration of war. It just means that they dislike you. Somehow I can still sell here. I guess it's 3 tiles away. But now I'm going to have to escort this unit back, so... Ooh. You know what? Might be a situation where I use heal instantly. Because I kind of want to kill that barbarian, but I don't want it to kill me, so... I actually somehow have tons of strength. Oh, it's 40% on Prince. Wait. I guess that's why people play Emperor. They don't want people just wrecking barbarians. I couldn't have even taken that encampment with the barbarian inside it. That requires a melee unit to do, so... Yeah, let's just heal instantly. Guess I could have moved. Doesn't really matter. I grow in 1 turn. It'll use 2 productions, and then I'll change that to the horse. Alright. Oh my god. Where are these coming from? But yeah, I still think I'm going to sell here. I want that citrus to be part of this city. But yeah, so... Looks like I'm going to lose the salt. That's a bit unfortunate. We can make this more efficient. But I've just finished the horses, so I'll still maintain the happiness. Alright, now that calendar is done. Might want to get trapping for this city. Just because... I might get sailing. Actually, trapping first, because circuses, good for happiness. There's no maintenance. That's the big part. So, right now I'm running deficit. So, oh, I might pillage my marble as well. But I think I have enough happiness to get through it. Let's see. Just nothing up there. But now I have my second warrior back. So that's good. Let's move. Let's actually, I want to see what this provides. This provides literally nothing. It provides tundra. So I am going to settle on top of the horses. It provides an extra hammer, but I have tons of hammer potential from this city. So generally what I'll do is make a worker, but it's actually best not to do that. It's best to build spare workers in your capital. And it's best, like what I do is I keep one worker per city. I wouldn't say I have OCD, but that's generally just, I want to be organized. So actually this city gets 2 production from the horses, so that's pretty nice. So one instead I'll build is a granary. Because I have a wheat, that's actually I only have 1 wheat, so it's not really worth it to, but the 2 food is really good. Especially I can get a watermill as well, so that's 4 food just from buildings. So right now I'm going to leave that there. I can actually, and I didn't get the bonus. Oh well. So this worker can work here. I'll actually bring this back to my capital. My archer can continue scouting. This is, remember, this is a 3, or technically it's actually a 4-person continent. So it's like I'm pretty much playing on a tiny map. I don't need a lot of scouting. Like, I've pretty much scouted probably as much as I need. Oh my god. This is not going my way. Where did he appear from? Like, literally, where? Is there an encampment? If there's an encampment on that grassland, I'm going to be... This is just... Barbarian troubles. Everyone has them. Alright, I found the Maya. My next policy, I'll probably pick up Monarchy. Sometimes I do Landed Elite if my cities don't have food potential. But they do, so... Yeah. I'll get Landed Elite next. But yeah, it's been actually 45 minutes. Yeah, where did this guy come from? I don't even know. I don't question it. Now I can move my worker to work or repair those tiles. So, actually I'm going to end it here. I might continue for like a little second early game or later early game. I'll probably finish this actually, but so, like I said, tomorrow it's just one video from now on. So, yeah, tomorrow will be a video. And I'll continue this game. This will be like the later, or this will be like the beginning, then technically the early game. I'll figure out what the times will be, or like the relative to the game, of course. But 32 turns in, I got 2 cities up. I'll probably get my second settler after this. But yeah, so, or maybe I'll get a worker and then a settler, or a settler then a worker. And then this city, I can get that, and then a shrine. So, yep, the production queues make it easier to show how to play the early game, but generally this isn't. You want to get 2 cities up, or at least the good cities in your area, and then kind of just build them up with tradition. If I went Liberty, of course, it'd be different, but yeah, so for this video, tomorrow it is then.